Hello everyone, welcome to the Ranting Shop. It's me, Alexia. Today we're gonna be discussing Put a Ring on It, Season 2, Episode 7. You guys, I never know what the episode truly is. I think the title had to do with something to do with marriage, something, I'm not sure. But anyways, we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty of things. We're just gonna go out the gate with where we left off with Darian and Kai, and we know that according to the previous episode that Kai and Darian had some type of sexual relationship. And the thing that baffled a lot of people is that watching Alexia's IG stories, IG interviews with other people, like for example Hollywood and Ashley and these people, she kept on saying, if he did it, if he did it, if he did it. And that baffled me because at the end of the day, the previews had already stated that he cheated on you. In fact, the previews are showing the viewers that you are the one saying that he cheated on you. So then now why are you saying if he did it? It's obvious that he did it. So that was baffling to everybody. So nobody's surprised Kai and Darian had a sexual relationship on their 4th date in the condo, the infamous condo, the condo that is colorless, and Dr. Nicole wanted Darian to fill in the colors for Alexia. Let her know what's going on. Clearly, she still did not know and was not made aware. Now, he kept on saying things like, well, first he said the night that it happened, it reminded him of how good he had it with Alexia. Now, I don't know what exactly made him to think about Alexia at that time, but I guess when you've done wrong, it's very easy for you to then think of the person you wronged because you know you were wrong. Then he mentions, well, she says that it was probably fake. I mean, your feelings were probably fake for me because you said all these things to me and then you're doing this now. And then he was like, if it was fake, I wouldn't be here with you today. Now, as I said last week, that's a lie because Dr. Nicole kind of forced him to go on another date with Kai. It wasn't because of his feelings for her, or it wasn't because of his respect for her, because had it been his way, he would have never met up with Kai. Kai would have never seen him. He would have ghosted her. He would have never felt the need to explain anything to her because for him, she was just a tool that he used, whether it be to ease stress, whether it be to talk, whether it be to do whatever it is that he felt he needed at that time. That was what she was there for. And so essentially he did use her. As much as he's trying to say he didn't use her, he used her. He used her. And he's been using women because you guys know that Darian's ex-girlfriends are now coming out of the woodwork and doing interviews and stating quite a lot of things about him. But the funny thing about it is the very first interview that was done with one of his girlfriends seemed more true to the type of person that we've been seeing on this show. Another person who claimed to be with him off and on for 10 years also went on YouTube and did an interview, and it seemed as if her job was to disprove everything the first person said, and her job was to have people see him in a more positive light. But what the first person said aligned more with what we saw. So people will be more inclined to believe that. Essentially, he used her. He used her because he saw her as his helper. He saw her as his stress relief. And one thing I was like, Kai, like, why would you say that? Kai was telling him, well, why don't we tell her together? Well, for me, I feel like that's where you draw the line. Like, that's not your place to tell Alexia anything. Leave it up to him to tell her. Why would you want to tell her? And for me, it just seemed a little bit malicious in regards to why or her motives to want to tell Alexia. I mean, it has nothing to do with you. Like, you're the outside party. Let Darian be the one to relay that information to Alexia. I feel like it kind of made me feel like maybe Kai wanted to see her cry. Maybe Kai wanted to see her hurt. I don't know. But that part, I was like, that's not necessary. So it's good that I guess he said that, he didn't want to embarrass her. But at the end of the day, as Kai stated, you already embarrassed her. You embarrassed her a long time ago. It's just now coming to the light. It's not now that you're gonna begin embarrassing her when you've been embarrassing her. So he wanted to tell her himself, and I think that was, of course, the right way to go. And Kai was just like, well, you used me, you did all these things, you said all these things, talked all this good stuff and whatever. Wish you the best in your relationship and bye. I kind of like the way Kai ended the thing because then she was like, okay, I see what I needed to see. Now I need to leave. I'm happy she did that. She's actually in the more advantageous position because she's not very tied into him and her feelings are not intertwined and entangled into him. Plus, she doesn't have history with him, so it's easy for Kai to move on, as opposed to Alexia, who's had 14 years on and off with this man. This man is not just only her lover, this man is her best friend, and it would be difficult for her to just cut ties. So in that case, Kai got off the easy route. Although it does seem as if her and Darian have some type of relationship at this point, but which is unfortunate because I don't think anybody should really be interfering with somebody like Darian. I feel like he's the type of person that will drag you down with him and then blame you for it. So I wish and I hope she kind of moves forward from Darian, because Darian is not really in a good space to uplift and help and benefit and do right by any woman at this point in his life. So Alexia is only now being aware of all the things Darian was up to. Darian wasn't a saint, and when Darian, in the beginning of him and Kai going out on dates, he mentioned that he never cheated on Alexia. I don't believe that is true as of now, considering what his exes have said in interviews and all these things. It seems like he is not a very loyal type of person. Darian has always been someone that does things for him. People do things for him. He's used to being treated like a king. He's been used to being uplifted, and he's been used to, getting away with a lot of things he shouldn't be getting away with. And so he's kind of spoiled in that regard. The women he's been with have spoiled him. He has spoiled himself. I don't think that there's anybody that have ever really held him accountable. And when it is that Alexia was trying to hold him accountable, then he would blow things out of proportion and not want to really effectively communicate. So Alexia is now being made aware of the fact that Darian cheated on her. Now, at 11:50, that was when she spoke to Dr. Nicole. Alexia said Darian told her that he and Kai slept together. That's what she said. She said Darian told her that he and Kai slept together, and that she would not be able to talk to him unless somebody else was like a third party. Now, my interpretation of that is that she wanted somebody like a Dr. Nicole to kind of mediate the situation. I didn't consider the she to be Kai, because I don't see nowhere in God's green earth that Kai would be able to mediate between two people who's at a conflict if she's the kind of one of the indirect sources of the conflict. That made no sense to me. So I think she was referring to talking to a third rational party like Dr. Nicole. So she's speaking to Dr. Nicole, and she's coming to the realization that, for one, she doesn't really know who Darian is. For two, a lot of the things that she thought was truthful was a lie, because he kept a lot of things from her, and she's been telling a lot of people that a lot of the things she's finding out now she never knew before. Now, as Dr. Nicole told her, it's not that you were not seeing things, it's that you chose to ignore it. You chose to sweep it under the rug. And as she later says, you can't sweep things under the rug that you don't see. If you can see it, that's the only way you can sweep it under the rug. If you didn't know, if you didn't see, then there's nothing to sweep under the rug. So that was made perfect sense to me, and in her interpretation of what was going on. As Dr. Nicole tells her, you know that this situation is not the best for you. You know that Darian is potentially not the person that you should be marrying. I feel like you know that, Alexia, but for some reason you want to rationalize it away and sweep things under rugs and hide red flags and do all these things, because why? You love him. So in a sense, what you're doing is putting yourself behind to put him in front. You're putting all your feelings or your thoughts or your emotions, you're putting yourself behind to run after this man. It's time for you to put yourself first, because I noticed that a lot of the women that have been speaking about their experiences with Darian, you would get the impression that everything is about Darian, nothing is about themselves. And I think that's the state of affairs that he likes. He likes when people put him first. He likes when he's able to get away with things. Nobody holds him accountable. He loves that environment. But it's time for women to, one, hold him accountable for who he is based on his actions, which is what Dr. Nicole has been trying to get Alexia to do. See him for his worth. See him for what he's doing. Stop listening to his words. His word does not align to his actions. And I think this situation caused her to really have no choice but to see who she's dealing with. Like, there's no way to explain this away. It happened. What are you gonna do now? Are you gonna ignore it and continue to do what you've been doing and going around in a treadmill type of situation where you guys are stuck? Or are you going to make a move and do what's best for you? Like, this is the time to make that decision. Dr. Nicole told her to love yourself. And she keeps saying she loves herself, but you don't love yourself, Alexia. You, at that time that you filmed this, all this time being with him, you did not love yourself. Because if you loved yourself, just like he was putting himself first, you would have put yourself first and should have let go of that situation a long time ago. The fact that you chose to hold on to it shows that you did not love yourself because you were choosing to hurt yourself to be with this man because you loved him. Just think about that. You were willing to hurt yourself to be in a situation because you loved this man. What about you? As Dr. Nicole rightfully said as well, Darian is the type of person that, you know, is like a kid. He's very immature. He will build something and then break it down, build it and break it down, but he would not allow it to just flourish and let things happen and see where things go. And Dr. Nicole said that in this situation, he just was given bigger blocks, and you see, he started building something with or maybe thought to build something else and then broke it down. And you can't be in a situation like that. It's not stable. It's very volatile. She agrees to meet with Darian. So it was her, Darian, and Dr. Nicole. Now, last episode, she was on cloud 9. She felt like, oh, Darian is finally turning a new leaf. Darian is finally seeing things from my perspective. He's finally, you know, getting himself together. We all thought that that was fishy. And we just did not know why. But he explained himself in this particular situation. Let me just get the note. He said he needed to get her on his side first. So all that mush mouth, touchy, feely, all that love bombing that he was doing was in an attempt to soften her, as I said previously, to be able, I suppose, to handle the inevitable hurt that he would cause to her. So that is what he wanted to do, and he explained it very clearly here. The reason why it did not work is because Kai just burst open all the files. Kai was like, nah, I'm not going to accept this. I'm not going to tolerate this. You're not going to use me and discard me as you please. I'm going to let all this stuff open. I'm just going to let all this stuff out. And I'm happy that she did that. I'm really happy that she did that. Because it forced him to now have to tell Alexia the truth. It forced him to have to tell Alexia the truth. And as she said, like, if, I guess, Kai didn't tell or burst open all the files, he would have probably not tell her until he married her. And then she would have kind of been trapped. So I'm happy that she did bust his files. She's thinking the condo is her secret place with him and that's the place they share. Meanwhile, Darian has been bringing women to this condo. It's just that she didn't know that. And I feel like throughout these episodes, it almost gives the impression like she knew. Or she had an impression or an intuition that made her know that something bad was going on at the condo, but she just didn't have the proof. So as I said, it's all about Darian. It's all about his feelings. It's all about, everything is about him, and he's not been able to face the consequences of his actions. Okay, so the best thing for Alexia to do is to separate herself from Darian. Don't allow him to linger. Don't allow him to stay around while you heal. You need him to be completely gone for you to be able to heal and move on, because if he keeps himself around, the likely thing that you're gonna do is go back to him, and then the cycle begins again and again and again. And you don't want that cycle to be never ending. It has to stop at some point. You need to love yourself at some point. He shouldn't be there. He shouldn't be anywhere around. He apologizes as if an apology is supposed to be an instant band-aid, as if it's supposed to be an instant fix. Okay, I did this, all I have to do is apologize and everything will be okay. Things don't work out that way. And especially a situation where you've hurt this woman, you've betrayed her trust. You expect an apology, a simple apology. You could apologize 1,000,000 times on that day. It's not enough. She needs the space to be able to process this hurt and to deal with that away from you. And that's why Dr. Nicole had to tell him, and he even was able to force out some tears. And I saw her wiping it. Girl, don't wipe his tears. This is all a ploy for you to now go back into him and to go back to his mess. Don't fall for it. Let him cry. He's a grown man. He could cry. She said she's never seen him cry like this before. That's manipulation tactics. That's manipulation tactics. Let him cry. He deserves to cry for what the stuff he put you through. Put yourself first. It's not about his tears, it's about your hurt. He needs to go find and fix himself because there's a lot of healing that needs to take place on his end. She needs to find herself. He needs to find himself. And then she says in the confessional, oh, Darian, I will always love you. Fine. You could love him from a distance, but don't you ever make the mistake of going back to that man, because you're going to see misery and pain for the rest of your days. The last thing that I'd like to address with Darian and Alexia's situation is, I mentioned to you guys at 11:50 while watching the episode, Alexia said Darian told her that he and Kai slept together. However, at 33:27, around that range, she met up with the group and she showed up by herself because, of course, she didn't want Darian to be there because of his infidelity and so on. So at that meeting, when she had to explain to the other group members, she said some things came out of her, meaning Kai, or she said her exact words was, we had sex 10 days ago and all of a sudden you ghosted me. Now that baffled my brain cells, because in my mind it's like, how does Alexia know what went on with Kai and Darian's meeting? How does she know, and how is she able to quote Kai's exact words? And I think what it was that, and that's the logical thing to think, is that she demanded proof because maybe she didn't believe that Darian did that, because she kept on saying, it's hard to believe, I just don't believe it, and so on and so forth. So she demanded proof from production, and they showed her what Kai said, or a clip of what Kai said. And so that is why she used the Kai situation to explain it to the group. But still, whether Kai said it, what Kai said is irrelevant unless Darian didn't tell her the whole and complete truth. But if Darian already told you that he slept with Kai, I mean, what else do you need to know? What else do you need to know? I mean, he slept with her. The details of what happened is irrelevant. You know what I mean? And for her to put it on Kai and say, oh, Kai said this, it just is weird to me. Why does it matter that Kai said it? Because initially you said Darian said it. So who said it? Was it Darian or was it Kai? Because that confused me. Is it that you seeked clarification from Kai and she told you? Because I'm very baffled as to that aspect of it. Because one time Darian tells you, next time Kai said something. Now she didn't say Kai told her. She said Kai said some things came out of her mouth. Meaning that's something you saw. So she probably saw the clip of Kai and Darian's interaction and what Kai said. And that further confirmed things for her. But I don't know. Maybe she didn't believe Darian. Maybe Darian made it seem as if Kai did something, because we all see that Darian is the type of person that does not like taking accountability for his actions. So if he's gonna try and confess something terrible that he did, best believe that he's gonna try to make it anything but his fault. He's gonna say something like as if Kai did it to him, as if he was not a willing participant. That's the type of person he is. So maybe she wanted to clarify that, but that's just very strange to me, because to me it doesn't matter who said what. I mean, at the end of the day, he did what he did. He admitted to it, and that it's just very strange to me. But anyways, let's move on to Lorenda and Derek. I don't have much to say about Lorenda and Derek's date other than they have a lot of things in common. Lorenda wasn't initially attracted to Derek, but became attracted to him when she noticed that they have similar things as far as their goals are concerned, as far as their future is concerned. It aligns. He was willing to go to the courthouse, and marry her now, and that was cute and funny and everything like that. And Derek is someone that wants marriage. He's never been married before. He has children, but he's never been married before, and the next time he has children, he wants it to be within a marriage. Now that's great and everything. The date was rather cool. There's not much to say about the date. Lorenda and Sean speak because they had an assignment, which was to talk about what marriage looks like for both of them and whether it aligns. As far as for me, that's not even the most important part. They talked about the wedding, and Sean wants this big wedding, 13 groomsmen and all these things. Lorenda does not want that big affair. She wants something smaller and more intimate. And somebody mentioned the fact that why would Sean want this big elaborate wedding situation when, according to him, his finances are not even up to par. the priorities are not in order. It's like the person that is secure financially, Lorenda, wants something small and cute and simple. However, the person that does not have the financial means or that's more financially unstable is the one that wants a big elaborate wedding. Isn't that baffling to anybody? Because it's baffling to me. And it seemed like the wedding is more so for show as opposed to a genuine union and wanting to genuinely, get into the gritty of marriage, not the shrills and the thrills and the decorations and the acclaim and all this stuff, but the nitty gritty of it. It seemed like Lorenda is more so on that speed. On children, they disagreed a little bit. Sean wants 7 children. Lorenda wants 4 to 7 children. Now, when she spoke to Dr. Nicole, she was kind of like, she wants 4, but if he says 7, I mean, okay, but it doesn't seem like she would. If she doesn't want the 7, you're not gonna have 7. That's what it seemed like to me. She was like, I'm gonna lightly agree to what you want, but then I'm not gonna give it to you. That's what it seemed like to me. So she also wants to adopt 2 children. They talked about divorce, and they both feel as if it will be something that they consider if it comes down to a point where they're unable to just get past certain things or communicate effectively on certain situations. If they can't get through or get past things that are affecting their relationship, then yes, they do believe that divorce is something that they will consider. Because Sean mentioned that he's not into that whole ride or die mindset, because he's seen or he's known of marriages that people have been together for a long time and they're not happy. They're just together because they're supposed to be together, because they have the history, they have this, they have that, but it's not a happy union. So they both agree on divorce if necessary. But anyways, that's practically that for their meeting. Next episode, we're gonna see Sean having or needing to speak to his dad. His dad is the source of a lot of his pain, a lot of his mental hindrances, his problems within relationships, and he's afraid to confront him, and we're gonna see how that goes. Then we have Miss Jessica and Eric. Eric doesn't know what marriage looks like. He's never seen a successful, healthy marriage. So his idea or perception of marriage is gonna be coming from his thinking or feeling of what marriage is. And that is a bit dangerous, because it's like, when you don't have something to model on or something healthy to model on, it's difficult for you to create something more stable and steady, because your idea of what marriage is a fantasy, because you've never seen it, and that is very dangerous. He missed Mother's Day, and that hurt Jessica a whole lot, because Jessica feels like she's a good mom and she deserves to be celebrated for it, and she just felt like he didn't do anything to even show some consideration for her and her mothering skills. She was heartbroken, and she feels like she settles a lot for things that she feels like she doesn't deserve. But the reason why she settles for it, I don't know. It could have a lot to do with her self-esteem and her thinking that that's the best she could do. But clearly she knows that that's not the best she could do. So there's that. Jessica mentioned she was adopted by her aunt, and so she doesn't know her biological mother. And so with that, she felt a lot of abandonment issues. And she, I suppose, felt that way when she felt like Eric didn't even do something special for her on a day that she feels like she deserves something special. Eric mentions wanting another kid, and it almost mirrors Darian wanting a kid. They want children, but they don't want marriage first. And I'm not able to understand that. How is it so easy for you to want children, but it's such a difficult situation for you to want marriage? That it baffles me. And of course, Jessica feels like before children, there needs to be steps that needs to be taken. And I agree. You don't want to, and she mentions that she doesn't want to be another baby mother. She already went through that route. She does not like it. Nobody should want to be a baby's mother. I don't think anybody aims just to be somebody's baby's mother. Your aim is always marriage. Your aim is always to be with one partner for the rest of your life in a solid union. And she just does not want to go through that again. Whether Eric understands it, I don't know. Basically, what I gathered from Eric wanting a kid is that he wants to course correct all the things he wasn't able to do for his older children. He wants to be able to do, he wants another chance to do better by his new children. And I just feel like instead of wanting to do better with or wanting to start over with a new kid, why not just aim to be a better parent moving forward? Why not just aim to catch up on those lost times with your children now? He's like, oh, the children will be out of the house in 10 or something years. No, Eric, I just don't agree with you at all. Children are not chances. It almost seems as if it's a way for him to start over. I don't feel like children should be used as a starting over button. Do what you know you're supposed to do with your children now. Jessica doesn't want children. I feel like it's not even that she doesn't want children, it's that she doesn't want children in the situation that they're in right now. And I cannot fault her for that. Okay, anyways, Jessica and Sean go out on a date, and Jessica mentions to him that, of course, they go on this flying date thing, and he's scared of heights and stuff like that. They talk, and basically she's trying to tell him that you were moving way too fast for me last time. Like, you were telling me all these things about you. Like me, I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't expecting that. According to her, she said she was caught off guard by his emotions. They have a good date, of course, and she says that although she sees herself liking him, she never said she liked him. She sees herself liking him, but she respects the relationship that she's currently in. Doing this together with their children, and she was like, whoa, isn't it too quick for me to have to be seeing your kids? So Sean seems like somebody that moves ultra fast. And as I said before, there's red flags with people that move so quickly. It's almost like they want to move fast because they don't want you to see the red flags. So if you move quickly, you will only see the red flags when it's too late. And I feel like Jessica absolutely was right in her, you know, kind of like calm down, calm all the way down type of thing. And I like that she did that. Eric wants a kid. Jessica felt overlooked. I don't think they should be having any children, especially if she's not in a place where she feels like they need to be. A lot of men feel like children are supposed to be band-aids. Children are supposed to be this glue that binds them together. That's not true. Like, how many times have we heard of marriages and unions that have failed because of babies? So men tend to not really think of long term. They're only thinking of now. And I really hope that he's able to see things more from Jessica's perspective, because she makes a whole lot more sense than he does. And we see that next episode Eric is gonna be in a bed with Miss Leilani. Oh my goodness. You guys, so it's literally the only couples that are left now are Lorenda and Sean and Jessica and Eric. And between these two, we're gonna see who ends up staying together. For me personally, I think they both stay together because their Instagrams really sell them out. I think Erica and Jessica have a company together, a trucking company together as we speak. I think it's called E&J Trucking, Eric and Jessica Trucking. That's very obvious that they're still together. If not still together, they have a business partnership together of some sort. And then we have Lorenda and Sean. Just the other day she went to a wedding and they took pictures together. Also she went to some event that he was hosting or that he had. So these people are still together. I'm sorry to burst you guys' bubble. I'm sorry to do this spoiler alert, but these two couples are still together. As to who proposes to whom, I have no idea. We're gonna have to stay tuned to find that out. So anyways, you guys, let me know what you think about my review of Put a Ring on It. It was a very heavy episode. Of course, my heart hurts for Alexia, but I'm happy that she got to see who Darian truly is, and she has stopped living in this imaginary world of what she thinks Darian is, but she's actually coming to the realization that he's not what you have in your head. He is this way. Look at his actions. His actions are that. That's what he wants. That's what he is. That's who he is, and accept him for that. So although it's super hard and difficult to come to the ending of a 14-year friendship relationship, it has to be done. It absolutely has to be done. Anyways, you guys, and everybody was posting this meme. I think this me versus the Delta variant, and they used Kai's picture as the Delta variant. I think it says my plans versus the Delta variant. That's so mean, but actually Darian should be the one that should be in Kai's space. He's the Delta variant because he's the one that messed up his relationship, not Kai. But anyways, you guys, bye bye. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for another episode of Put a Ring on It reviews. Can't wait to see you guys. Bye.